Sara Akash, translated as the whole sky, takes its name from a poem by Ramdari Singh Dinkar. Written as India awoke to independence, the poem promised the nation's youth a boundless cosmos of freedom and self-determination. But Rajendra Yadav's 1951 novel uses that title as a bitter irony. Instead of endless possibilities, the story grounds us in the claustrophobic reality of a cramped, lower-middle-class existence in 1950s Agra, where daily survival eclipses any lofty ideals. Our protagonist, Samar Thakur, embodies this tension. He is a college student who publicly quotes revolutionaries and dreams of intellectual freedom. Yet within the walls of his own home, he lacks the courage to defy the tyrannical authority of his father. Samar's father views the marriage as a financial recovery operation. The family recently incurred massive debt paying a dowry for Samar's older sister Muni, and Samar's union is the primary way to reclaim that lost capital. For Samar's generation, the promise of a boundless sky was an illusion. Before their adult lives even began, their futures were commodified to balance the financial ledgers of the patriarchal family. On their wedding night, two strangers are thrust into a shared bedroom. Samar is resentful of his thwarted ambitions, and Prabha is paralyzed by the suddenness of her new environment. Neither is willing to make the first emotional move, and they end up locked in a paralyzing standoff of pride. That initial awkwardness quickly hardens into a hostile, passive-aggressive silence. They share a bed and a room, but they completely ignore each other's existence. The first half of the novel is subtitled Sanj, or Dusk. It describes a psychological twilight where the young couple finds themselves surrounded by 10 directions, yet lacking a single answer for how to navigate their lives. This total withdrawal into silence is a defensive mechanism. Lacking any personal agency, these two strangers use quiet as a shield against a bond they have no power to control. The architecture of the traditional Indian joint family home functions as a domestic panopticon. A heavy concentration of shared spaces eliminates privacy. This actively weaponizes the couple's standoff. Their estrangement is put on public display, monitored by the household, stretching into a 6-month Cold War. Within this suffocating architecture, family members actively sabotage the newlyweds. Samar's sister-in-law weaponizes her inferiority complex, whispering manipulative gossip to poison his mind, while his mother enforces strict compliance to traditional duties. As a result, Prabha is systematically stripped of her dignity. Despite being a highly educated woman, her reading habits are mocked as arrogance, rapidly reducing her to an unpaid domestic servant. The joint family structure thrives on this surveillance and sabotage. By turning relatives against each other, the system crushes individual identity, ensuring total domestic compliance. Prabha's wristwatch represents her modern education and her personal autonomy. After facing relentless mockery over this symbol of independence, Prabha stops winding the watch. Her time is no longer her own. Letting the hand stop is a silent surrender to her environment. The tension between the silent couple eventually reaches a breaking point. During a minor dispute, Prabha accidentally uses a ritual clay figurine to wash vessels, triggering an explosive resentment in her husband. Boiling over with misplaced anger, he violently slaps Prabha. The physical blow is born entirely out of his own projected impotence and fragile masculinity. This moment of violence exposes the failure of Samar's intellectual idealism. Despite years of quoting revolutionaries and critiquing orthodox society, when tested, he fully succumbed to the toxic patriarchal systems he claimed to despise. Following the slap, the narrative shifts away from the crowded courtyards, moving up to the rooftop. In the geography of the Haveli, the roof is the only open, unmonitored space available. Samar wanders onto the roof in the middle of the night and discovers Prabha sitting in absolute solitude, shedding copious tears beneath the open sky. Seeing her despair shifts Samar's internal perspective. He finally recognizes his own cowardice, realizing he has been punishing a woman who sacrificed her entire existence to serve his family. That night, the 6-month Cold War finally breaks. The young couple spends the remaining dark hours communicating, crying, and finally acknowledging their shared captivity. While the novel continues onward into further tragedy, Director Basu Chatterjee ended his 1969 film adaptation at this exact moment. He leaves us as the morning sun rises, signaling a fragile, hard-won hope for the couple. Sara Akash is a chronicle of survival. The oppressive architecture of the joint family remains inescapable, and their economic reality is still grim. But by finally breaking their silence, they guarantee that they no longer have to endure the prison alone.